President Donald Trump, promises made, promises kept. Man, this man is moving at such a rapid pace. It is hard to keep up with him, man, and we're here for it, and we love it. Let's just take a look, man. You have a trade deal in place with China, a trade deal with the UK, a ceasefire between India and Pakistan. He's lowered farmer prices by 30 to 80%. Arranged the return of Eden Alexander, an American citizen held hostage since October 2023. President Trump has been extremely busy, but let's go ahead and tackle this China trade first.
Fox News alert overnight, the Trump administration securing another win, announcing a major tariff deal with China. Trade will be one of the major issues on the agenda when the president makes his high-stakes trip, and the first one to the Middle East. He's going overseas today. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt joins us now. Caroline, we're just mentioning there's probably 7 major stories. I know I'm going to disappoint somebody by not bringing it up. First off, your reaction, and what could you tell us about the China deal that has tariffs dropping from 145, 125 respectively to 30 and 10?
Mm-hmm. This is an extraordinary first step in the right direction. And thanks to the strength of President Trump, Secretary Bessent and Ambassador Greer were able to cut this initial deal with China. China agreed to reduce their tariffs on the United States by 115%. They also agreed to continue having discussions about opening Chinese markets to American-made products and goods. And they also agreed to continue seriously discussing the grave impact that Chinese-produced fentanyl is having right here in the United States and our people. So this is a great first step for the American public, and Secretary Bessent, Ambassador Greer, and of course President Trump will continue negotiations with China so we can hopefully inevitably get to a fair and comprehensive big trade deal.
Do you know yet, Caroline, if they're going to unfreeze the rare earth and the magnets that we use for our technical equipment as well as our military equipment?
I do understand that was part of the discussion, but I also know that the administration is working overtime 24/7 with a dedicated team to onshore that very critical supply chain here at home. We need to be producing those magnets, those rare earth minerals, and also look at pharmaceuticals, look at semiconductors. There are critical supply chains that we have been dependent on other countries for far too long. So while we continue to negotiate these good and fair trade deals, we will also continue to boost our domestic manufacturing here at home to strengthen our national security.
All right, so we got the UK deal, the framework for a China deal. Is there another deal queued up, ready to go today before you leave?
Well, look, we told you the next 100 days would consist of peace deals and trade deals, and that's exactly what we have seen. The president announced last week the big trade deal with the UK, as you mentioned. Now we have a first deal with China. Just yesterday, the president announced the release of the last remaining American hostage in Gaza, Eden Alexander, who will soon be united with his loving family. God bless him. That's thanks to President Trump. We also negotiated a ceasefire with the Houthis, and President Trump was instrumental in negotiating a ceasefire with India and Pakistan. This is all in the last week. President Trump and his team are working incredibly hard on behalf of the country and the world to secure peace deals and trade deals. And don't forget, we have a tax deal coming too. The administration is working with Capitol Hill to sign the largest tax cuts in American history right now.
So this is just amazing how President Trump is just moving at a rapid pace. He's getting so many things done, but yet you'll still have Democrats who will push back on this. They will not give this man any credit. And as far as I'm concerned, President Donald Trump is doing an amazing job. He is what you call a man of action. Promises made, promises kept. President Trump, man of action. You take a look at what he's getting done. He's getting a tariff deal done with China, tariff deal done with the UK. And also you have this situation with prescription drugs, which I think they're going to tackle real quick. This is an announcement that President Donald Trump, he put on Truth Social, and then subsequent to that, they posted it all over X. So the president is doing everything that he promised that he would do when he ran for president. This is amazing, man. I mean, it's amazing that we have a president that's actually doing something that benefits the American public.
This pharmaceutical deal, I'm just going off the Truth Social posts. It says, it's a long one, but he says, I'm pleased to announce that today, the White House at 9 o'clock will be signing one of the most consequential executive orders ever. They will be reducing pharmaceuticals by about 80%. Essentially, we are going to pay less than the country that's paying the least for pharmaceuticals from here on in. How does that work?
First of all, it cannot be overstated how big of a deal this executive order that President Trump will be signing in a couple of hours is for American families, and especially our seniors who have been ripped off by very large and rich pharmaceutical companies. The United States of America is less than 5% of the world's population, yet we purchase 75% of Big Pharma's profits. We pay an astronomical amount in comparison to other countries around the world. So the president is signing an executive order today that is going to implement most favored nations drug pricing and is going to reduce the cost of drugs in this country by more than half at least. America is going to pay a better rate and a fairer rate to the rest of the world. That's what the American people deserve. This is huge news. And also, I will add, we know that healthcare costs and drug prices were the #1 driver of Biden inflation. So not only are we bringing those down, but we are ending Biden inflation once and for all.
You know, I think it's going to be interesting to hear what somebody like Bernie Sanders has to say, because this is one of his main talking points, was reducing pharmaceutical costs for American citizens. President Donald Trump is a man of action, and he has done it. So let's see what the pushback will be with the Democrats now, because this was, like I said, a main talking point of y'all boy, Bernie Sanders. But he read the last part of the statement that President Donald Trump released. I want to read the first part. It's very interesting. For many years, the world has wondered why prescription drugs and pharmaceuticals in the United States of America were so much higher in price than they were in other nations, sometimes being 5 to 10 times more expensive than the same drug manufactured in the same exact laboratory or plant by the same company. And then it goes into what the gentleman read earlier, but that's the thing. This is something that has been talked about by people on the Democratic side, like Bernie Sanders. I remember Bernie Sanders. This was like a hot topic for him. He would talk about this all the time. That and oligarchs, and then quite recently you've seen RFK Jr. He has been talking about this, you know, the cost of pharmaceuticals for American citizens versus the rest of the world. Now, Donald Trump has heard the call and by the American citizens that something needs to be done, and he has done something about it.
You clarify that Qatar is giving us a new Air Force One as a personal gift to President Trump. Are they gifting it to the country? What could you tell us about this luxury liner that looks like a hotel in the air?
Well, the Qatari government has graciously offered to donate a plane to the Department of Defense. The legal details of that are still being worked out. But of course, any donation to this government is always done in full compliance with the law. And we commit ourselves to the utmost transparency, and we will continue to do that.
Do you worry that if they give us something like this, they want something in return?
Absolutely not, because they know President Trump and they know he only works with the interests of the American public in mind.
So,
President Trump don't play that. And I'm going to
say to people who view that luxury jet as a personal gift to you, why not leave it behind?
You're ABC fake news, right?
Why
It's
not?
only ABC. Well, a few of you would. Let me tell you, you should be embarrassed asking that question. They're giving us a free jet. I could say, no, don't give us, I want to pay you $1 billion or 400 million or whatever it is. Or I could say, thank you very much. You know, there was an old golfer named Sam Snead. Did you ever hear of him? He won 82 tournaments. He was a great golfer. And he had a motto: when they give you a putt, you say, thank you very much. You pick up your ball and you walk to the next hole. A lot of people are stupid. They say, no, I insist on putting it. And then they putt it and they miss it. And their partner gets angry at them. You know what? Remember that, Sam Snead. When they give you a putt, you pick it up and you walk to the next hole and you say, thank you very much.
Respectfully, sir, as a businessman, some people may look at this and say, have you ever been given a gift worth millions of dollars and then not received anything?
It's not a gift to me, it's a gift to the Department of Defense. And you should know better. because you've been embarrassed enough, and so has your network. Your network is a disaster. ABC is a disaster. Here is the bill. Bobby, come on over here. Now you're talking about trillions and trillions.
President Donald John Trump, man, he said ABC is a disaster. Y'all been a disaster. So it looks like President Trump what he's saying is it's not a gift to me, it's a gift to the Department of Defense. And I from a previous interview of Donald Trump, it looks like he is going to consider using that brand new plane, because he was talking about the current Air Force One is about 40 years old, if I got that correct from President Trump. And it looks like this plane here is a free $40 million jet from Qatar. So he actually said it right there. You know, you're going to have people that wants to spin it and say, oh, this is a personal jet for President Trump. President Trump, he just clearly said this jet is going to be a gift to the Department of Defense. President Trump, a lot of things are happening here, man. Let's continue.
Howard Lutnick has briefed me on about 24 deals that he and Jameson have been working on, and they all look a little bit like the UK deal, but each one is bespoke. Each one's a little bit different because different countries have different things that they've been doing wrong to us, different things they care a lot about. And so, for example, there was the UK auto issue where there ended up being a quota, and that was something they really cared a lot about. And by yielding on that, we got a whole lot for American farmers. We opened up the UK for the first time ever for beef farmers, which they really, really love. And so, yeah, it's going to be a little bit different, but the basic idea is everybody wants to have a deal, and everybody wants to make a deal soon. And so you're right, you're going to see a lot more deals in the weeks to come. I mean, there are a whole bunch of things that are very, very close to the finish line. In the end, the president has to decide he likes the deal or not. There was a great story where I thought the deal was fantastic, and then the president's like, I can make the deal better, and he got an extra $1 billion in agreement of the UK buying our stuff on the phone by calling Starmer. So my guess is that the president's going to make the last phone call for each one because he is the best deal maker in the world. And
just picking up the phone, Liz.
I know, it's a good phone call, right? I wish I could do that. Yeah. I was just going to mention earlier, sorry to interrupt you, the de minimis issue, I don't know whether that's been resolved or not. And that, I think, has a lot to do with fentanyl imports. When you're able to bring in small packages worth less than, I think the number is $800. Trump basically said that was the end of that, really killed Temu, Shine, some of these other companies. But also, my guess is it had big impact on fentanyl. Whether that stands or not, we don't really know.
Well, unfortunately, that is a big issue for a lot of small businesses here in the United States and American consumers that have gotten used to buying everything on Shein and Temu and gotten great deals from Alibaba. So, you know.
Yeah, look, I think this is welcome news to just about everybody. I did not see this substantive deal coming with China this quick.
So, to the summary of the U.S.-UK deal. Okay, U.S. slashes tariffs on UK cars and metals. UK opens doors to U.S. beef and ethanol. $10 billion Boeing deal locked. UK to review its digital tax on big tech. Let's see, Trump and Starmer call it a reset for economic ties. So President Donald Trump is doing his damn job, man. And this is what leadership looks like. This is exactly what leadership looks like. We finally have a president that is transparent, and he's actually attacking all of these concerns of the American citizens.
We pay in this country the highest prices in the world for prescription drugs. Maybe, just maybe, it might be time for the United States Senate to stand up to the pharmaceutical industry and all of their lobbyists here and all of their campaign contributions.
This is an extraordinary day. This is an issue that, I grew up in the Democratic Party, and every major Democratic leader for 20 years has been making this promise to the American people. This was the fulcrum of Bernie Sanders' runs for presidency, that he was going to eliminate this discrepancy between Europe and the United States. But as it turns out, none of them were doing it. It's one of these promises that politicians make to their constituents, knowing that they'll never have to do it. And the reason they'll never have to do it is because they know that Congress is controlled in so many ways by the pharmaceutical industry. There's at least one pharmaceutical lobbyist for every congressman, every senator on Capitol Hill, and every member of the Supreme Court. By some estimates, 3. pharmaceutical companies, the industry itself spends 3 times what the next largest lobbyist spends on lobbying. So this was an issue that people talked about, but nobody wanted to do anything because it was radioactive. They knew you couldn't get it by Congress. We now have a president who is a man of his word, who has the courage. Isn't
it interesting? President Trump is attacking the pharmaceutical companies. Something that, like RFK Jr. said, this is something that I've heard Bernie Sanders talk about almost all the time. That and oligarchs, the pharmaceutical companies and oligarchs, constantly. So now I wonder what he's got to say, about this now, because President Trump, once again, he's a man of action. For many years, the world has wondered why prescription drugs and pharmaceuticals in the United States of America were so much higher in price than they were in other nations, sometimes being 5 to 10 times more expensive than the same drug manufactured in the exact same laboratory or plant by the same company. And let me jump down here. Therefore, I am pleased to announce that tomorrow morning in the White House at 9 a.m. I will be, which is what they're doing there, signing one of the most consequential executive orders in country's history. Prescription drug and pharmaceutical prices will be reduced almost immediately by 30 to 80%. They will rise throughout the world in order to equalize and, for the first time in many years, bring fairness to America. I will be instituting a most favored nations policy whereby the United States will pay the same price as a nation that pays the lowest price anywhere in the world. Our country will finally be treated fairly, and our citizens' health care costs will be reduced by numbers never even thought of before. Additionally, on top of everything else, the United States will save trillions of dollars. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Make America great again. Donald Trump's got a lot of wins. He's just winning. And he is doing this for you and me, American citizens. He is putting America first. Democrats will fight against this. And I'm talking about the Democratic leaders. And when you fight against this, more and more of your constituents are leaving. They're becoming Republicans. My situation is a microcosm of this. I see this, and we talk about this daily. You are losing your base because you are worried about party. You're only worried about the Democrats, and you're worried about your pocketbooks. Donald Trump is exposing this. He is flooding the zone with issues that are important to American citizens. These are the things that are paramount to us. You are being exposed. And when I say you, I'm talking about the Democratic leaders, okay? Your constituents are leaving. They're leaving. There's a mass exodus. You're going to see in the midterms, and you will see in 2028, there's going to be a red wave again. I don't know. I don't know when the Democratic Party will ever be in the White House again. This right here is promises made, promises kept. All gas, no brakes by the President Donald John Trump and his administration. We salute you, sir. Thank you.
We pay in this country the highest prices in the world for prescription drugs. Maybe, just maybe, it might be time for the United States Senate to stand up to the pharmaceutical industry and all of their lobbyists here and all of their campaign contributions and say we're going to stand with the American people who are sick and tired of being ripped off by the drug companies. There are many reasons why we pay such outrageous prices, but one reason is we continue passing laws written by the pharmaceutical industry and their lobbyists year after year after year. I believe that the American people should know that the pharmaceutical industry has spent more than $3 billion on lobbying since 1998. How's that? Democracy at work. Drug companies charge us the highest prices in the world, and the pharmaceutical industry spends $3 billion on lobbying. They're all over these places, well-priced lobbyists trying to get us to pass pharma legislation. We have got to have the courage to start taking on the pharmaceutical industry and representing the American people. So I look forward to working with my friends on the other side to come up with a good solution to protect the American people at the outrageously high cost of prescription drugs in this country.